So what happened to soap maker Dove's profits after its 2004 Real Beauty campaign? The answer, they went up.
They're doing a tweet opera. Do you know that? A Twitter opera?
No way.
Yeah, Covent Garden, Royal Opera House.
Oh, I love a tweet.
Is that where our lottery money goes? So, what I want to know now is your thoughts on this so-called real woman model. Is she really real? Does she represent you? Does she look like you? Because ever since 20-year-old Lizzie Miller graced the pages of this month's American Glamour magazine, countless women have been writing to thank the magazine for featuring her in her little muffin top. One of the letters, "This is the most amazing photo I've seen in any women's magazine," wrote one woman. Another said, "I was starting to despair of ever seeing real women in magazines. I have a similar tummy which I hate, but look at her, she's beautiful." No wonder the Daily Mail has weighed in, get it, calling Lizzie absolutely flabulous. But is she? Or is Lizzie and her tiny roll of blubber just another big fat fashion lie? I know lots of women, but not all are stunningly beautiful, 5'11" tall and size 12. In fact, very few of them are. So she's hardly representative of the average woman on the high street, is she? Your average British woman weighs 2 stone less than Lizzie, but only stands 5'4" tall and wears a size 16 dress. She's got cellulite on her thighs, wrinkles on her face, and won't have perfectly white teeth either. True, ordinary women have proved to be hugely successful models. The Dove campaign, 2004, Real Beauty, they called it, that resulted in a 700% leap in sales. So there's clearly a demand for real women. But I'll ask again, just how real is a woman, is this model Lizzie Miller, Janet?
Oh, she's the real Lizzie, but she's illustrating an article about being comfortable with your body. She obviously is. That's great. I'm afraid what stops women being comfortable with their bodies is not that. And it's not either the pages of fashion magazines, because I think they are... have you seen the September issue yet? It's absolutely obvious that what is being put onto the models' backs, those very tiny models, is a representation of something very, very luscious and decorative, but not how we go to the shops of a morning. So I can completely separate out the images of models in magazines, and it's not in any way instructing me how to look or be.
Does she represent the ordinary woman on the high street?
What represents the ordinary woman is the Daily Mail having a little word about Helen Mirren this morning not wearing her bikini anymore, and they've caught her in a much more unflattering light, and she's wearing a one-piece. And I think the subtlety of that is, see, she does look like an old woman after all. That's the image that pervades all newspaper coverage, with the fatuous statement that somebody puts on a few pounds.
Does Lizzie Miller represent? But does she represent ordinary women?
No.
They didn't elect her. That's strange.
No,
of course she doesn't. No, she represents a glamorous model with her clothes off, that's all. What does represent ordinary women is the notion that newspapers can have a go at somebody who puts on a few pounds. And I see the new euphemism for what they would normally class as fat is curvy. You know, so-and-so has become a bit more curvy. Let's have a few pictures of people getting more curvy. In other words, lose weight, girls, because you're losing the battle.
I have a totally different view. I hear the word curvy, and I know that means big boobs.
Yeah.
OK. Probably means you're going to get a big butt as well. But the boobs and the butt,
that's the brilliant thing, of course. To most men, 99% of men, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They think you look great anyway, so long as you're being nice to them and laughing at their jokes.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
But women beat themselves up about it, and it is largely due to this pervasive idea that there is only one way to look, and if you're caught off guard, you're failing.
OK. Can you understand, Ed, why Glamour magazine is being flooded with letters from women saying how much they like seeing Lizzie Miller on the pages of Glamour?
I guess, I mean, although I do look at the photograph and I do go, what is she modelling?
It's just
the point of a model.
Yeah.
You know. But I think it's a step in the right direction is the point. I've always, you know, and I think like most men, you know, fashion models are far too thin anyway. I think everyone is in agreement that fashion models are way too thin. I've always had a rule that I'll never sleep with a woman as skinny as I am because I'm just afraid we'll start a fire. But, I was never a Boy Scout, but I understand the physics involved. And I, you know, basically the fashion industry is essentially run by women and gay men, right? Two groups who do not find women particularly attractive necessarily, you know, and the people who actually do, you know, we don't have a... There was one, I can't even remember who it was, but there was one fashion designer once used porn models for one show. And it was the only time curvy women, for want of a better word, have ever been seen on the catwalk.
I can still forgive that in the pages of the magazine, because all you're illustrating is a look, a glamorous look, an enhanced way of wearing that particular look, which does actually translate into next year's High Street. But what I can't forgive is this absolutely pejorative way of looking at women critically all the time.
Okay. I want to concentrate on Lizzie Miller here. What do you make of her, Craig? Does she represent real women?
When I first saw it, I thought, oh, look at her stomach, that's repulsive. And only because I book dancers all the time. And, of course, with that job, dancers are fit. You know, but you could go back to the days of, you know, the pre-Raphaelite, for instance, you know, where men only saw women with their curves, and that's what they loved. And a skinny woman was absolutely repulsive to look at. But, of course, we're now in a culture, and we're being told by fashion that you have to be thin to be beautiful. And I'm glad this is in publications and more of it, quite frankly.
More of it.
Yeah.
It's a step in the right direction. The other thing about it, though, it's partly to do with the pose, though. I mean, she's completely relaxed and she's bent slightly forward, she's sitting down.
Yeah,
so you're going to get that. I'm sure as soon as she stands up and goes like that...
Well, that's kind of where my thinking was.
But there is another picture of her, exactly that. When she stands up like that, she doesn't.
And anyway, they may have photoshopped her. I mean, they photoshopped lots of celebrities.
Apparently she's not photoshopped there. The girls in the office, they've told me they like her because she appears to have big thighs. I still don't know whether this is enough. I'm asking you if she's a real woman who represents you. Let's hear what you've got to say. Kirsty.
First, we have Sue on line 1, Matthew.
Sue, good morning.
Oh, yes, good morning,
So, what do you
Matthew.
think, Sue?
Let me start by saying I love your show.
Thank you very much.
I think it's fantastic.
Thank you very much. You make me blush.
I actually come from South Africa. Where the average size of a woman is size 14, size 16.
Right.
I went to a predominantly boarding school for girls, and it was only after until I came here to study that I realized this obsession with weight. And it's ridiculous. And I think people like her are essential, particularly for girls, because I think the weight thing is not just physical, it's also emotional.
But hang on, Sue, hang on, because I'm saying I don't think she does represent real women. I think that what you've got is a photo that's maybe slightly... it suggests she has a belly, but when she stands up, I think, as Ed said, you get, you know, a statuesque, stunningly beautiful woman who's a very successful model. I don't know if she's representative of real women.
But the fact that we're talking about it, is going to come out more in the public domain. We will have more people that are real, you know? And also, we've got to remember that models, by nature of their job, are supposed to act like hangers for clothes, for advertising. And I think it's nice. And what has happened is that that has transcended to be normal in popular culture. And I think it's wrong, and it sends a very wrong message, because not all of us are like that. We're like the hand. Some of us are short and stubby and fat. Some of us are tall and skinny. And some of us are tall and skinny and short, and so forth and so forth. And I think the more people like that...
Tall and skinny and short would be difficult, Sue. Thank you.
Short legs.
Thank you. And Eric, a quick word with our audience. What do they think
next
of
is
Lizzie Miller?
Roisin. So, Roisin, you've seen the picture. Is this real model really real?
Well, she's gorgeous and everything, but she doesn't translate into everyday life. I mean, she's really tall, and how many 5'11" girls do you know?
Right, not very many.
And she is really pretty, and she really does look good. But if we want to kind of say that she's real, she's not. She's not even average. She's below average in size. She's above average in height, and it's just.
That's exactly what I see.
And there's a terrible cowardice, isn't there? Because to illustrate the thing about being comfortable with your body, they've chosen somebody who is obviously comfortable with their body and very tall. If they're going to choose somebody else on the polar opposite, they only ever choose Beth Orton. There's like no one in between, really, which is the in-between bit is the rest of us, actually.
Yeah.
The other thing, though, is the model's job is to look good. I mean, they are supposed to look better than us.
Yes, exactly.
Unless they're with the uglies agency.
You know, and it's not just in modelling. I mean, it's in everything. It's like, you watch an episode of Friends, I don't know 6 people that were that good-looking. And whenever you see watch an episode of Friends and someone's complaining about, oh, I don't have any money, Be a model. You're gorgeous. You can easily make cash as that. You know, they're all impossibly handsome.
Exactly.
In a lot of things in show business, for want of a better word.
I have to wrap this up. Thanks to Rasheen there, our view from the audience. Appreciated. But that is the panel part of this morning's show. All done and dusted. Ed, you've been absolutely brilliant once again. Fantastic. I have to remind you, you can catch him in the West End run of different classes on at London's Vaudeville Theatre. Starts tonight. You're there for about a month, aren't you?
Tonight, tonight till the 7th of October.
By which point your hair will be down to your nipples. Janet, Craig, what can I say? Particularly you, Craig, because it was a last-minute call. I can't thank you enough for making the effort. Your appreciation for